Hello, you've caught me thinking about, well, video games, funnily enough.
It's sort of my default state. Turn off all my lights and put me in neutral and chances are wisps of video game will start wafting into my subconscious before sinking permanently into the deep recesses of my brain, right next to all those unhappy childhood memories and urges to kill. Sometimes though, I'll be playing something that puts my mind on full video game lockdown. Games so compelling they bleed into my every waking hour. Games I'll think about when I'm at my desk, when it's lunchtime and I've forgotten to eat.
And even when I'm filming Friday features, fancy that. Here are 7 life-swallowing video games you'll think about even when you're not playing them.
Back in 2008, a time when PS3 was still a new thing and I'd just been bowled over by Metal Gear Solid 4, a game called LittleBigPlanet emerged from the bubbling creativity of developer Media Molecule. This looks nice, I remember thinking, charmed by the Hessian smile of PlayStation's new platforming mascot Sackboy. I'll jump through this for a few hours and probably have loads of fun.
Little did I know I was about to enter a realm of 24/7 obsession, the likes of which I hadn't experienced for weeks since I finished Metal Gear Solid 4.
But this was an obsession of a different kind. LittleBigPlanet was the first game I'd played that allowed me to create levels, characters and stories using the same toolkit as the developers themselves. It felt like a seismic shift, both in terms of the general console gaming landscape and also my preconceptions about what was possible in the medium. I whizzed through Media Molecule's pre-made levels, beautiful, intricate and memorable, and instantly began work on something of my own. Ugly, simple, forgettable. Yes, but that's not the point.
The point is, LittleBigPlanet lit a creative fire in my heart that raged for months.
I'd be secretly jotting down ideas under my desk at work, terrified I'd forget them otherwise. I'd draw diagrams, imagining level layouts and puzzle mechanics and character designs. I'd lie awake at night and something would click inside my brain. Suddenly I'd have an epiphany and realise I could use that item to make this happen, and it was all consuming.
In the end, I contented myself with playing through the levels of far more talented people, but I'll never forget that initial burst of creative potential that I felt.
It was infinite and wonderful. My mind swaddled in a warm creative fuzz from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep.
Yeah, it's just like this.
Next up, we've got FIFA, any FIFA that has Ultimate Team in it, because let's face it, if you fall down that particular hole, then you'd better make sure you've taken all the other important bits of your life with you, because you're not coming out again.
I myself have managed to stay on the precipice. I've looked into the abyss, I've opened a few packs, felt gravity's inexorable pull, but always been able to resist.
For now. Go deep into Ultimate Team, however, and that's it. You'll be thinking about it non-stop, making lists of transfer targets, designing formations that get the best out of your fledgling squad, and dreaming of your ultimate team. Then, if you're Nath, you'll be dipping in at lunchtime to see whether or not you managed to sell that player you've been trying to get rid of, and hunting down bargains to patch up the holes in your defence.
Basically, it's like collecting Merlin's Premier League football stickers at school, only with Ultimate Team, you can't get fobbed off by Philip the school bully and forced into accepting 3 marbles and a packet of Monster Munch for Ryan gigs.
It's like a second life, FIFA Ultimate Team. Much like when I used to play LMA Manager back in the day. Please, if anyone's listening, make another LMA Manager. And I'd sit on the bus to school writing tactics and formations in my notebook while all the other kids talked about parties and things, like saddos. Next up, we've got Destiny, which I was reminded of recently by the launch of, Destiny 2, which then reminded me, like memory dominoes, of that golden time of multiplayer wonder after the original Destiny had just launched. You'd log into your PS4 after school or work and see your friends list lit up with strikes, raids and rounds of Crucible. I'd never been so social with my gaming and haven't been since.
It got to the point where we'd come into work and before having having our actual meeting, we'd sit down together and make a Destiny to-do list.
Right, so Monday we've got the daily, then Tuesday it's the reset, so we'll do the daily and the weekly. Wednesday it's the daily and some Crucible, followed by the Nightfall on Thursday, and then it's Xur and celebratory strike playlists on Friday. Destiny became part of our routine.
Right, I'm off to bed, Robert. Have you cleaned your teeth?
Yes.
Let the dog out for a week?
Yes.
Done the daily?
I've done it.
I'm just checking.
Entry number 4, XCOM 2. Now, Dave is playing this at the moment, and when I say at the moment, I mean during every single second of time in which he absolutely doesn't need to be doing something else, like breathing and eating. The cool thing about XCOM is that you form a deep emotional connection to your squad. You give them names, they level up, they grow with you as a player, and then they die permanently. The agony of having one of your favourite characters ripped from your life is quite something, and they really do become characters. You project your own story and personality onto them. Dave named his characters after people in the Access office and currently spends his days either A, berating their real-life counterparts for what were technically his stupid decisions.
I mean, why wouldn't you stay behind cover at that point, Dan?
What are you talking
It doesn't matter, you're dead, everything's ruined.
Or B, crying in a corner as he comes to terms with the irrecoverable loss of one of his friends due to, yes, his stupid decisions. Either way, XCOM 2 is a game that invades your consciousness even more effectively than those little grey men invade planet Earth. Yes, I'm so pleased with that one. We've got a blast from the past in at number 5 in the shape of Theme Hospital, a game that wrapped me in its methodical, strategic embrace back on PS1.
And methodical, strategic embraces really are the warmest of embraces.
In case this was before your time, Theme Hospital, much like its sister game Theme Park, was all about the building, upkeep and advancement of your own hospital. You had to make important executive decisions like how big do the wards need to be, and no, I'm not hiring another caretaker, the current one just needs to water these plants quicker. With that would come technological advancements like your hospital being kitted out to deal with the notorious bloaty head disease, which I always liked to think was what happened to video game characters if you abused the big head mode cheat.
You'd turn off your PlayStation, but Theme Hospital would remain on, up here, and you'd mull over whether or not to fire that doctor who spent too long playing pool in the staff room, worry about cash flow and patient waiting times.
It was an itch that could only be scratched by getting back on the PlayStation and playing more Theme Hospital. Ah, good times. Although, I don't think I ever made it past the second level now I think about it. I wasn't very good at running hospitals because all I think about was making money, which in hindsight was not the right way to go about things. Our penultimate entry this week is The Witness, a beautiful open-world puzzler with gameplay that leaks from the screen and into the real world to the point where you have to make notes, doodle solutions in notepads, scribble routes through mazes, cut out paper shapes and take snaps of things on your phone to proceed.
It's a genius game, especially in the way that it perfectly straddles that divide between complexity and simplicity.
In fact, The Witness is intricately simple, and by that I mean it's been painstakingly designed in such a way that the solution to any puzzle is only ever a matter of looking at the puzzle in a certain way. You don't need to perform mathematical gymnastics. Often you'll be stuck on something for hours. Then you'll lie down, your mind will untangle, and you'll solve it almost by accident as your thoughts relax into the solution seemingly of their own volition.
And so you need to think about The Witness when you're not playing it, as not playing The Witness is as important a step in completing it as the actual physical act of holding a controller and pressing X.
That, and it's just, well, good. Often it will take over your dreams and you'll start your next play session and solve within 2 minutes what had you stumped for 2 hours the night before. Lovely. Our final entry is Telltale's The Walking Dead, or Telltale's Game of Thrones, or Life is Strange, or Heavy Rain, or any game that asks you to make hugely important story-affecting choices you'll then stew on for days or even weeks after.
I remember feeling awful for ages after killing a guy in Heavy Rain when R1 appeared on the screen and I panicked, so I just pressed it. Bang! Dead.
These games are clever, aren't they? They transfer the responsibility onto the player. Traditionally, your on-screen avatar acts as a sort of guilt shield, soaking up the blame for all the terrible things you've helped them do, whereas in games like Life is Strange, they're more like a conduit between player and developer. You're making the decisions, you're being told the story. You have to lie awake at 3 o'clock in the morning wondering why you chose to do that instead of this at the end of season 1 of The Walking Dead.
There's no getting away from your choices in these games. Make one you regret and it sticks to you. There's no tearing it off.
So choose wisely. For instance, choose to hit the like button, that would be a great choice. And also, tell us in the comments what games take over your mind even when you're not playing them, and then subscribe for more of these videos every Friday. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.